My interest really in Chinese art began with Yuan dynasty painting. I wasn't really aware of Chinese porcelain at university. That came much later, but I did an amazing amount of travelling in China when I was living there. I first went to China in 1984. I was 19 years old. I was part of second year Edinburgh University and studying Chinese and fine art. We really went all the way from Beijing to Kashgar across the top and then down to Hainan Island in the south. Had an amazing time, and people were very welcoming in the 80s. China was really opening up then. My first contact with the British Museum was through being a volunteer for Jessica Rawson. I worked at the Japan Festival, but after a month I was given a contract to stay for, I think it was at the time 18 months or something like that. When we did the Houghton Gallery the first time round, which was back in 1991, 1992, the idea behind it was Jessica Rawson. That was the driving intellectual force of the gallery in the early 90s. And she transformed it from the earlier incarnation of the gallery. To be honest, I feel a complete sense of privilege that I'm sort of standing in line with all these kind of extraordinary people of the past who've looked after the collection. Because back in 1753, Chinese objects were displayed as a kind of curiosity. Silk purses, little shoes for bound feet, popular figures of popular gods. And one person commented in a guidebook which said that if an Englishman had turned out his pockets and put them on a table in China, they would have as much idea about British culture as British people could have of China by these exhibits. So it's a constant evolutionary process of adding new knowledge from new excavations, new opening up of new libraries, new resources. It's all building our knowledge about China. You can't do the whole of Chinese history in one room, but what you can do is give a taster of ideas throughout history. The wonderful thing about being at the British Museum and looking after the China collections is there is no routine. My job as a curator has really changed over the years, and certainly I think of it not as a block of time, but as a series of projects, either working on different books or permanent galleries, temporary exhibitions at the British Museum or loans around the world. Sometimes a lecture series. I had a fantastic period teaching in Fudan University in Shanghai, which was really, really interesting. The project I'm working on at the moment is a big Arts and Humanities Research Council project. And at the heart of it, you have myself, Wenyuan Shin, who's the project curator, and Professor Julia Lovell of London University. We're building a project around the 19th century, and one of the things we wanted to do when we were working on the Ming exhibition was bring the sort of everyday people to life. And it was very difficult because you don't have so many traces of ordinary people, whereas in the 19th century there are a few more traces, and we're able to show cotton garments or this straw cape, simple shoes, some of the more everyday objects. So the specific object that I'd like to mention just as an example of one of the unusual things in the exhibition is a fantastic cape that's made to keep off the rain, the wind, for a person who probably didn't have a great deal of money in the 19th century. It's a straw cape, and my colleagues are spending probably about 80 hours on that one individual object, restoring it and bringing it back to its original form. And then we'll show it on a mannequin so that you have an idea of really the masses during the 19th century. I think this exhibition is incredibly relevant for today. We've all lived through the past couple of years of the COVID pandemic. People want to know how you get through these difficult times. And the 19th century is a perfect example. It's a period of a series of domestic and foreign wars, conflicts, but out of it come the most extraordinary artworks, the building up of the new cities, new kinds of finance within China. You have the birth of the new universities, and you have the whole new education system, new diplomatic system, a revitalization, I suppose, of many different aspects of Chinese culture. The idea is to present the historical events of the 19th century, but also to look at the creativity and the resilience of Chinese people